here we are on the banks of the River Thames at Bisham Abbey. Quite a chilly morning this morning, -2. Quite a number of our athletes have been on this stretch of river this morning training. And that's where we are. We're in this winter period, October through till December. The sprint kayak has stayed in the UK. You know, we've got a really good daily training environment here at Bisham. We've got the regatta course over at Dorney, 12 miles away. We train on the river here. The gymnasium is a fantastic facility. And we've made the most of being at home and really focusing on our winter preparation and training. And I'm pleased to say it's gone incredibly well. You know, a lot of work in the gym, sort of strength training, power training, but keeping the kayak training going at the same time. With our slalom squad up at Lee Valley, really capitalised on the exclusive use that we have there for the GB team, and you know, getting used to our home venue so that we're maximising our home advantage up there at Lee Valley. We've seen the international teams across for 3 weeks in November, international training, and you know, those athletes from all around the world really enjoyed being on our course. But certainly, you know, through the month of December and January, it's been the GB team by themselves. And that's the pattern as to where we are, really. We had the men's 200 and the women's squad went to South Africa for a three-week warm weather training camp. And you can imagine the benefits of being there in 30 degrees C as opposed to -2 here on the river. So that was a fantastic week, you know, 3-week camp. You know, some real big gains there. We've also got some of our 1,000-metre athletes have been out in Australia, and just sort of taking advantage of the warmer weather. In slalom, a number of our athletes, David Florence, Richard Hounslow, Campbell Walsh, they've gone to Australia. The biggest majority of the squad though have stayed at Lee Valley. That's been fairly challenging in the last few weeks. It was -6 up there the other morning. I was up helping with a session last week. But nonetheless, again, time on the water, you know, maximising that home advantage on our course, and you know, and working sort of technically so that we are the best that we can possibly be on our course. And looking further into the next couple of months, our sprint squad, the women's squad going to Seville on Sunday, 3-week camp. That's a well-trodden path for us in Seville. It offers a great training environment. It's only a 2-hour flight. You know, we'd expect it to be between 15 and 18 degrees. So, you know, great environment for training. And the 200-metre squad going back to South Africa for another 3 weeks. In slalom, within a couple of weeks, all the athletes will be back at Lee Valley, and we'll be staying there in the run-in all the way through to selection. So for us, winter training, maximising our gains through our winter training, and then starting to focus into the selection events, which are the first key events for us in 2012. So in slalom at Lee Valley, 13th, 14th and 15th of April, we have 3 races, 3 consecutive days, and at the end of that 3-race series, we will have identified the athletes that will be nominated to take the Olympic places. So that's going to be a fantastic weekend, and obviously a real focus for the athletes in terms of their training and preparation. It's open to the public. Tickets are available from our website now, and you know, so I would just welcome as many people as possible to come along, look at that sort of fantastic venue that we've got. It's a wonderful environment, and to look at some of the best athletes in the world, GB athletes, competing for selection for Team GB on that course. At the same weekend, we have the April Regatta up at the National Water Sports Centre in Nottingham. And that regatta is the first leg of the selection process for canoe sprint. So it's not a make or break like the slalom. We can select 2 boats per class to go on to the World Cups, and through the next 2 World Cups, that will then be the process for selecting the majority of the boats. After the April Regatta, the next big challenge for us is Poznan in May. And it's a period of about 7 days, from approximately, you know, the 12th of May onwards for 7 days. There's a lot of focus on the city of Poznan in Poland, because what we have is, European second round qualification, so an opportunity to qualify more Olympic places in canoe sprint. And we'll absolutely be targeting men's kayak, 1,000-metre events. We'll be contesting the canoe events and the women's kayak events to try and qualify more places. So at the moment we have confirmed we've qualified 9 places in sprint with an opportunity to qualify more. So an incredibly important event for us, massively challenging. The sport is dominated by Europe. It's one boat place per event available in Poznan, a lot of competition, and so that's a focus for us. Also that week though, we have the 2012 Para Canoeing World Championships. Para Canoeing in the Paralympics in 2016. But we've worked really hard since that announcement was made. We've done talent ID in Para Canoeing. We're really building the dynamic of a strong squad there. And we're hoping to field the largest Para Canoeing team that we've ever sent away from the UK in that World Championships in Poznan. And it'll be a great test for us to see where we are in terms of the world standing. And that's the middle of that week in May. At the end of the week, it's the Poznan World Cup. Big World Cup, the rest of the world will be there, and that will be the second leg of our own GB selection process to nominate the athletes for the Olympic team. So you can just imagine if for an athlete, if the April regatta went well and Poznan goes well, they could pretty much have their selection confirmed at the end of that weekend. If not, the following weekend in Duisburg, another World Cup would be the third leg. In slalom, we have the European Championships in May in Augsburg in Germany, and then we have the World Cups. And really exciting this year, the first World Cup, so that's the first weekend of June, is in Cardiff. A fantastic whitewater course has been built in Cardiff, and we're going to welcome the world there in June for a World Cup. So our athletes get an opportunity to race at home on home soil ahead of the London Olympic Games. And in fact, just this last week we organised a 3-day camp to Cardiff just to get to spend a bit more time on that water, because it's very, very different from Lee Valley. You know, the winter training period, in all of the squads, is a great time to work on areas for performance gain for the individual athletes. All the athletes have an individual programme. They work together as a squad. So it's individual excellence, but in a team environment. That's a key to one of our keys to success in the GB team. There's a number of athletes that want those Olympic places, as a high point in their career, competing in a home games, fantastic opportunity for them, and it's a massive challenge. We've got a lot of talented athletes, and I think it's to their credit that they do actually work together in a team environment. But ultimately, they want to be successful. They want to be that Olympic boat. They want to be there in July, August 2012, representing GB at the home games.